Passionators. Hey, hi, Passionators. I'm trying to figure out all this new Facebook Live stuff. They've added some new features on me, and I'm still trying to learn it. So bear with me. Let me know if you can see, if you can hear, if all is well. Ah, like I said before, I don't really have an agenda tonight. I'm just checking in with you guys. How are you? How's it going? What are you doing? What are you not doing? What took you by surprise? What what did you need to know? What did you need to face that maybe you weren't facing? How do you expect this whole situation to change how you do life and love and relationships going forward? How how is this impacting you? So, um, let me know. I'm not sure what's going on here. Make sure you comment and let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I'm not quite sure how all the bells and whistles work. I see my video is flashing. It's coming in and out, so I don't know if it looks that way for you guys. Um, but let me know if everything is good for you guys. Uh, yeah. So how you doing? You all are catching me seriously chilling. You are definitely going to be one of the last things I do before I go to sleep tonight. And and I got my Rona hair on because I took my braids out, but I can't see my highlights anymore. It's like I can see a lot of silver, but I can't see my highlights anymore. Oh my gosh! But this is how the braids came out. So I'm with the fullness right now, and yeah, I washed my own hair yesterday, and I braided it right. So I left it braided all night long, and I literally just took the braids out a few minutes ago. So so this is it. This is how it worked out. Yeah, I'm still going around it, but we will see, right? Um, can you guys hear me? Cause I don't see comments and I can't tell who's here. So I'm not sure what's visible, what's not visible. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can make some adjustments so I can actually see what's happening here. Um, okay, let me stay here. Uh, I have missed you guys. So how is it going for you? I know this is a whole new way of living, of getting from day to day. And none of us are used to it, and we're all trying to figure it out as we go along. And some of us are having a blast. Some of us are literally having a blast. And others of us are really struggling, but most of us are somewhere in between, right? Somewhere in between. Hi, Virginia. It's like I'm here, but doesn't look like a live video. Interesting. Well, I am live. I don't quite know what I should be doing differently. See, normally I do these from my phone, but tonight I'm doing it from my laptop, and all the bells and whistles are on my laptop. And it's new territory for me, so I really don't know how to work it all yet. But I'm clicking through stuff right now, so maybe maybe look at what's going on, see if I can make some adjustments without taking up too much time. Because, yeah, I, I would much rather um, have this. Hi, Vert. Um, Thanks for coming. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for letting me know how you see this whole thing from your side of the world. Needless to say, it looks a little different from me. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I hope it's coming through smoothly at least. Um, I hope it's it it is the sound coming through smoothly? Is the video smooth? Is it choppy? Oh, okay. I'm glad you got it, Birch. It's like you clicked in and now it looks live. Okay, that's great. Glad to hear that. Definitely glad to hear that because I didn't know which button to push next. I had pushed all the buttons I had available, so I didn't know what to do next. So thanks. Thanks for letting me know. Um yeah, let's see how it goes, right? Who knows? Let's see how it goes. But yeah, this the timeline is flooded with all kinds of stuff. There's information, there's more information, there's misinformation, there's accurate information, and then there's what people are actually living with from one day to the next day. And some people are finding out things about the relationship that they thought they had that they really don't have. And for some people, that's a good thing. And they were happy to find that out. And for other people, it's been traumatic and it's been a serious adjustment. And it's been unexpected and they were unprepared and blindsided like we all were. And since this whole situation is so open ended, it seems like we're living on a question mark. Our whole lives, many of us, are great big question marks at this point. So, how does that look day to day at home if you're in a relationship and you're actually on quarantine with your partner? How do you navigate that space of sharing your living space 24/7 when you're used to at least one of you going to work? In most cases, both of you were, and you were out of the house for most of the day, most of the days of the week. And now it's the complete and total opposite. It is the total opposite. And many times, for a lot of us, the only time we get out is to go get necessaries. You go get your groceries, you go to the pharmacy, you go put gas in the car, you go pick up whoever needs picking up, you do those sort of necessary things. But the fun stuff, we're not doing that. So we're spending most of our time inside and we're not used to doing that. So when you're in well, it may not be a small space, but any space that you cannot leave the way you would like to leave feels small. It feels confining. It feels restricting, even if you're in it with somebody that you like being with. At some point, there's a time when you just want to be alone, or even if you don't want to be alone, you don't want to be right in someone else's face. So, how do you navigate that in a situation like this when all of your usual options for gaining that space and taking that time have been taken away? It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people's relationships. Like on the one side, when all this is over, there'll probably be a spike in divorce filings. And on the other side, when all of this is over, there are going to be a lot of Christmas presents dressed in Pampers. That's how stuff like this works out. You confine people and you get one of two different extremes when they're locked up that close together for extended periods of time. And so far, we're just barely past the first week of April, and we've still got 3 weeks to go just in April. So, yeah, we need some ways to navigate this so that we can still maintain some sense of individuality and still be part of a couple that still like each other, that are still and that still want to be together when this whole thing is done, right? Well, it's not going to be done for a long time, if ever. I seriously doubt that the way of life that we had before this is going to return anytime soon. Like this year, forget about it. I just don't personally believe that anytime this year we're going to go back to normal. And actually, normal is probably not where we would do best because normal is what got us here. It's the same thing that a lot of people do in their relationships after they break up, or maybe if they've been together for a long time and their relationship has fallen apart to some degree, even if it hasn't totally come apart, the their focus and their goal is to get back to normal, to get back to the way it was, to get back to what they knew before. And the truth is, whether that was a good thing or not a good thing, whether you liked it or whether you didn't like it, that was the situation that put you in this situation. That situation led you to this situation. So going back to that situation is not going to benefit you. At this time, one of one of the benefits of being in this situation is that it's the perfect time to rewrite, recalibrate how you do relationships. And many of us didn't want to do that because we don't like change. Despite what you may have heard, despite what is popular to say, most people's biggest fear is not death, it's not spiders, it's not snakes, rodents, public speaking, that whole, I know that's the list. But the truth is, the biggest fear of most people is change. People will rewrite their whole lives in order to stay in what they know rather than to do something that's unfamiliar, even if what is unfamiliar is to their benefit, even if what is unfamiliar would be good for them. They don't want the change because that represents the unknown, and the unknown strikes fear in most people. Unless they interrupt their thought pattern and their way of seeing the change, the idea of changing is always going to be first frightening, and people avoid that. Even when it makes sense, they know it logically. They can recite it to you, they can say it to you. They know it makes sense. They know it makes sense for them to want A, B, C, and D, and they know they're living with X, Y, and Z. They can even make sense out of how to get from where they are to what would be better for them. They can make sense out of it. They can grasp it, and it's doable. It's something that they could do, it's something that they know is accessible, and they still won't do it. because what you know is always easier to deal with just because you've done it before. And most people are committed to what they know, not what's best for them. They're committed to their self interest and not their best interest. So until they're willing to make the shift that can actually change that, then they stay right where they are, no matter how much they complain, kick, cry, cuss, fuss, whatever. They will stay where they are. That's why people who complain about their relationships, no matter how much they complain, they're the least likely to leave. They are the least likely to leave. People who complain about their partners, people who are tired of whatever, who are who feel like they've been taken advantage of, who feel like they're not appreciated, who feel like they've been misused, abused, they are the least likely to leave their relationship. If that relationship ends, it's usually because the other person left. Because complaining and wanting to change are not the same thing. They're just not the same thing. It's human nature. It's human nature. However, it isn't insurmountable. It's not impossible. People can and they do change. When they want to change, they do change. They overcome the initial fear of the idea of being different, of rewriting their life, of doing something that they haven't done before. It's not really the doing that they're afraid of, it's the realization while they're doing all these different things that they're becoming somebody different. They are the ones who are actually changing. And that's the part that makes them nervous. That's the part they're afraid of. They don't know how to be this new person. It's the realization along the way that, oh my goodness, I'm not just doing something different. I actually have to be someone different. And I don't know how to be different. I only know how to be this. I don't know how to be that. So the key to making the change last is to be willing to sit in that uncomfortable place, to be willing to be uncomfortable while you figure out this new place that you're going to, while you figure out this new person that you're becoming. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable with that person, to be clumsy, to not have it all figured out, to make some awkward mistakes on the way in order to get to the place where you have figured it out. Once you do it enough, it will be more comfortable. You just have to do it enough. It's like anything else. The first few times you do it, it's uncomfortable because it's not what you're used to. It's like starting to work out. You're using your muscles in ways that you're not accustomed to using your muscles. That's why it's sore, right? That's why it hurts. That's the problem. However, if you keep going and you keep doing it, you get used to it and the soreness goes away and you get stronger and you can do more reps and you can push more weight and your body starts changing shape and your body will adapt to this new way of life. And once you make that adaptation, you check yourself and see if you like what you see and see if that's as far as you want to go. Or maybe you want to take it a little further. Maybe you want to redirect it. Maybe there's something different that you want to do. And so you challenge your muscles in a different way. And you challenge your respiration in a different way. And maybe you change your diet. You add a supplement or you do something else with what you're doing in the kitchen, or maybe it's not enough water, or maybe you take a look at everything that you're doing, knowing that your body is going to respond according to the changes that you make in it, and then you get the result that you're after. But it doesn't happen the next day. You have to keep doing it. It has to become more comfortable. You have to get to the point where your body makes the adaptation, where your muscles adjust and then they're ready for new stress. And you go through the same process. It's sore, it's uncomfortable, you stretch it out, you hydrate it, it hurts, you sleep through it, you go back, you do it again. You go back, you do it again. You go back, you do it again. And one day you go back and do it and it's not sore anymore. One day you go back and do it and you notice that you can do it for longer, or you can do it better, or you can do it with more weight, or you can do it in better form. And all that stuff happens because you were willing to be uncomfortable while your body figured it out. Relationships are very much the same way. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable while your head and your heart figure it out. And they will figure it out if you give them the opportunity. But you have to give them the opportunity. Complaining isn't giving it the opportunity. Kicking and crying and having tantrums and complaining to your friends or whatever isn't giving them the opportunity. It's not giving yourself the opportunity. You have to do this by changing what you do, not changing how you feel, not changing what you say. You have to change first what you think and then what you do in order to get a different result. That's why knowing better isn't enough. Because the truth is, most of us know what it takes to have a healthy relationship. We at least know it intellectually, right? If we were having a conversation with somebody about what it takes to have a healthy relationship, most of us can name 3, 5 things or more that they know would be required in order to have a healthy relationship. That doesn't mean that the relationship that they are having is actually healthy. It just means that they know what needs to be done, which is important. That's important information to have. But it doesn't matter until you do something about it. If you don't put it into effect, if you don't act on it, you might as well not know it, because you won't get the benefit from it until you actually do it. So it's like the difference between not knowing how to read or having a book and choosing not to read it. Either way, you're not getting the benefit of the information that's in the book. The advantage is when you know how to read, you can always choose to pick up the book and read it, to absorb and understand it, and put it to action in your life. You can choose to do that. That's the benefit of knowing how to read. So the benefit of knowing how to do relationships is that you know what to do, and you can figure out how to make that work for you at any time. At any time. Changes like this are possible at any time, no matter how long you've been together, or no matter how long it's been since you've been in a relationship. The wisdom of healthy relationships is always the same. It's always the same basic things. Be honest, be consistent, communicate your needs, and rinse, repeat. It's really not complicated. We're the ones who complicate it. We're the ones who make it difficult. We're the ones who bring all these stories. We're the ones who bring our past. We're the ones who bring our expectations. We're the ones who bring our ideas about how relationships work or how they don't work, how men are, how women are, how different relationships are when you're dating than when you're married. All of those ideas, we all have them. We have different sets of them. They've been dictated by how we grew up and what our past experiences are. They've been dictated by all of that, right? But where you start doesn't have to be where you stay. That's why when people say stuff like, but I was raised like that, it's like, ugh, yeah, I get that. I understand. But we were all raised in some way. That doesn't make it okay to still keep doing these things that are harmful, that are destructive, that are hurtful, just because you've always done them. Just because you spent a long time making a mistake doesn't mean that you have to keep making it. Just because you grew up watching everybody around you tear apart their relationships doesn't mean that you have to grow up and tear your relationship apart. Because the truth is, if you make different choices, you will get different results. If any of the people you grew up around had made different choices, they would have gotten different results too. So at any time, you can choose to do things differently. And if you really want different results, that's going to be what you have to do. Because changing partners isn't changing what you're doing, it's just changing who you're doing it to. So, whatever patterns that you already have that are sabotaging your relationship, it's not going to help to take those same patterns to somebody else and try them out. It'll just be a matter of time before you're back in the same situation with a different person. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. What you know really can change the outcome if you're just willing to do it. But most people want their lives to change, but they don't want to change their lives. And that's why it doesn't work. Because the truth is, your life only changes when you change. It only changes when you change. It doesn't help for you to change the people around if you're not going to change how you're showing up and why you're showing up that way. That's why the way you see yourself is the dictator for all of your other relationships. And that's why no other relationship you have can make you happy. Because if you're not already comfortable, if you haven't already accepted yourself, you have to accept yourself. That's a different thing from self esteem. You have to accept who you are, how you are right now in your fullness, everything about yourself. The stuff that you like and the stuff that you don't like. You have to be able to do that and still hold yourself in high regard. You have to be able to tell the truth about what's working for you, what you like, what's not working for you, what you don't like, and to still hold yourself in high regard until you get to that point. Every relationship that you try to make is going to be problematic because it's not going to fulfill that emptiness that you're looking for someone else to supply for you. They'll never be able to supply it, no matter how many hoops that they jump through, no matter how many times they do what you want them to do. That's why so many people are in relationships where they're getting everything that they want and they're still not happy. But that's a whole nother video. Yeah, that's a different conversation. So I don't want to string this out too long. We've already been here about 30 minutes, so I'm trying to be respectful. And And I'm also a little uncomfortable with this new technology, so I'm not sure how much of this is actually being recorded, being heard, being seen. I don't know. So I think this is probably a good place to just stop for now. And if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about relative to any of this, just leave it in the comment section. And if so, I will be in the comments to talk back to you. And hopefully, sometime soon, we'll get to do this again, and maybe I'll be more familiar and I can get it to work better. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected, even at a distance. All this technology is now our only way of staying connected. So use it for that. Use it to actually make connections or maintain connections. It's a way to get face to face with people. And that's always a good thing, getting face to face with people. It it heightens the intimacy. It it lets people feel closer to you. It lets people feel closer to you. And it makes them feel like they're more connected. And maybe you don't feel so isolated, when you can do that, right? So stay safe, stay indoors if you can. Shout out to all the first responders and essential workers. My heart out to all of you, to all of your families, to all of your loved ones. Your sacrifice for us during these unprecedented times is something I just can't even put words to. I'm so grateful for all of you. For all of you. I'm so grateful because without you, I just can't even imagine what this would be like, you know? So thank you. Thank all of you. And let me know if there's something else that you'd like to talk about. Comment section. I'll be checking. If you would like to talk to me offline, visit my website, www.edenadele.com. That's EDENADELE.com. Fill out the contact form and send me a message, and I will be responding personally. Um, Thanks for coming. Thanks for checking in. And be sure to check on your family and friends, even the ones that you normally see. Check in with them too, because things can change, you know, and we can still stay connected even when we can't touch. Thanks again for coming. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.